All right. So, the heartbeat topic for today that the group that was leading today wants to talk about is patience. Okay, probably one of our most favorite words ever. Don't you love it when somebody's like, be patient, and you're like, that sounds like a great idea. Don't you love that? How do you like being patient? No. Not at all. How many of you are like, of all the things I can do right now, being patient, not really on the list? Anybody there? Right, most of us, all right? Why is it so hard to want to be patient? Why is it so hard to want to be patient? Use your words. Takes time. Come on, what's up? Why is it hard to be patient?
We want things as soon as we want them.
Yeah, you want it now. You know, I know what I want, and I want it now. All right. What are things that you've had to be patient for that you seriously thought, I'm about to put my head through a wall? I cannot do this. I cannot wait. What are things that you've had to be patient for that just drove you insane having to wait? Come on. True that, right? School, like every day, some days at school like go by really fast, but on the last day of school when it's like early release, you're like, is it Sunday? Seriously, how long am I staying in school? Get the stupid bell to ring. True that.
The Wednesday and VBS that just will not stay in line.
Being patient with that one kid, because for some reason, little kids, they're not programmed to like stay in line. I mean, they must have a computer chip wrong or something.
Football season.
Okay, why?
So long. It's just.
Oh, no, November to August is forever. True that.
The day before Christmas.
The day before. Well, what's the difference between the day before and a week before?
The day before is a lot longer.
Because it's like you're so close. You know, can I not just get? How many of y'all get open presents on Christmas Eve? Any presents at all on Christmas Eve? A lot of y'all, something like at least something. You know, Jenna is always able to open like her Christmas pajamas or whatever. She used to pick this one present, and she's like, "Well, it's like tomorrow morning's Christmas. Can I just open a couple more? I mean, it's like tomorrow morning. I mean." It's like, no, you can't. But seriously, you're so close. It's like you can taste it. You know, like a week away, you're fine. But that last minute, you're like, I cannot do this. What are some other things you struggle with being patient for?
That one kid that won't finish their stupid state testing.
That one kid that will not finish their state testing, and you've been done for like a month. You're still sitting in that classroom. And you know, the teacher's like, shh. You're like, seriously? All of us are done except Joe back in the back. Really? We're not going to give him the answers, we promise. In fact, you send him to the hall so we can have a good time. Okay? Somebody over here is raising their hand for something. Go.
The microwave.
The microwave. It's hard to be patient for the microwave. What in the world about the microwave is hard to be
It
patient?
takes forever. No matter what time you put it on, it takes forever.
All right. Like popcorn, when popcorn's cooking in the microwave, and you're waiting for that final, like, it's just popping, and you're like, can it get to the whole pop? And you know you have to wait until it stops. You hear that slow popping, what are you doing? Getting that stupid thing out of there now, you know? Yeah.
Homework.
Homework, hard to be patient with homework. Why?
Because I want to get finished with it.
Because you want to be done with it. Don't even mess with it.
The guy who's driving in front of you, he's real slow.
The guy that's driving in front of you,
That's real slow.
all the high schools all of a sudden are moaning. All good. Go ahead.
Waiting for your turn on the computer.
Waiting for your turn on the computer? All right. And see, like, for some of you, how many, some of the things that somebody said was a hard time for them to be patient, how many of you were like, I have zero problem with that one? Did y'all have any of those kind of things where it's like, you can't relate to them at all? But how many of you were you're like, no, seriously, I totally relate to exactly what they just said. I mean, the high school was making wrong with you over there, you know? Well, like, waiting for your turn for the computer. How many of you have a hard time waiting for your turn for the computer? Be honest. You gotta wait for your turn to get on the computer, play the games, whatever. Right. For me, what am I doing on the computer? You know what I mean? It's like, seriously, I wouldn't know what to do, so I don't need to be patient for that. That's irrelevant for me. But for some of you, it is a big deal. Our patience factors are different. You know what I'm saying? And then I mean, don't think it kind of relates day to day. There's some times where I know I drive my family insane because I can be like driving down the road and like, for whatever reason, grandma decides to pull in front of me. And so I just slow down and I'm like, I'm good, we're going to get there, whatever. And I don't really stress out. Then there's other days Where grandma pulls in front, and I'm telling you, I'm like, is the Christian radio station up loud? Do I have Christian bumper stickers on my car? I gotta make sure I watch my witness here because I'm about to run her over. I don't care if she's got a new walker, she's about to lose it, But y'all know what I'm saying? Some of you drivers don't play, am I right? Some days somebody pulls you up, cuts you up, and you're like, I'm fine, I got this. And then some days you're like, do they not know I have somewhere important to be? Do they not know who I am? For real. It relates. Even in school, there's some days that you're like, I really don't care, I'm good. And then there's some days where you're like, no, I'm really not good, get me out. Y'all know, right? Patience changes. Patience changes. I think sometimes too, we love going on, and we would do this. We found, seriously, and it's a true story, it's a cheap vacation, not gonna lie. Going on a cruise that's all-inclusive, you can get cheap stinking deals. And they cover all your food, and there's not really a limit on how much you eat. And it's like a moving hotel. It's like, okay, score, we're good. And we used to do them. Well, our last one was a year before Jaden was born, okay? And then, we were always good. We were like, oh, we got this. We knew the routine. And it's funny because Jenna, when she was like a little kid, was like, couldn't wait to go. And was like always getting anxious. But as she'd done it several times, it was easier to be like, I'm good, I know it's coming. I know it's coming. Then, Jaden came. When Lisa's water broke, we were supposed to leave on a cruise 2 days later. Well, when her water breaks at 16 weeks, the doctor, I'm like, this is Wednesday night, and we're supposed to leave Friday on the airplane. I'm like, so I guess with her being on bed rest, that means we're not going on our cruise, right? I think everybody in that hospital room thought that I lost my mind because they're like, are you that slow, sir? Because I was, man. I'm thinking, we paid for this trip, why can't we still take the trip? And then she can come back and be on bed rest, It's like, no, you're not going on the cruise. You're good. Thanks for playing. So we say that, and all of a sudden, not gonna lie, there were a couple of days where me and Jenna were like, we missed our vacation. True story, right? We loved Lisa. We loved Jaden. But we were like, hold on. And we were fine. We weren't like anxious about the cruise. We just knew we were going. And now all of a sudden, it was taken away from us. Hello? And the patience factor goes, we understand why we're not going, but also we're like, hold up. And they actually, the Royal Caribbean, awesome, gave us a free, we didn't even have insurance. They gave us the cruise again. And actually upgraded us. We were living large last December, let me just tell you right now. Because we went in December on the cruise, on the makeup cruise. Man, we were in a room that I swear was almost as big as my main floor of my house. I'm just telling you, it was massive, it was awesome, they were so good. But we were ready to go, weren't we? We were like, we hadn't been like that for a cruise in a while, but it'd been like over 2 years. 3 years really since we've been on one, but 2 years since the one that we had coming got pulled away from us. And we just got like, come on. It could not get here quick enough. And of course you know exactly where this is going. We get on the cruise, everything's going great. It's a Sunday to Sunday morning cruise, and guess what came really, really, really quick? The stupid Sunday morning of the end of the cruise. We were like, because we were so waiting for it, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, now it's over. Kind of like, AKA, I don't know, Christmas morning. True story. You're like so excited. You're doing great till Christmas Eve, and then Christmas Eve you're getting like, I need those presents. I need them now, actually. And the next morning they're open in about how many minutes? 2. Got a world record holder in the back of the room, right? Seriously, they're open like that. And you're like, did we spend more time wrapping and putting all this stuff together than we did unwrapping? And then half the stuff stays on the floor for a couple of days, right? So, of course, for our house, Lisa's coming around going, you will clean up this living room. You will get your toys, including to me. You will get your toys and you will get them out of this living room. I want to see my carpet, But, again, we get to moments where we're like, okay, we're trying to be patient, and then stuff happens or whatever. We think we're doing good, and then we get all antsy. And then when we actually show patience, it seems like things just fly, and things just move. And I know that for me, one of the neatest things about patience that I've learned, and I think that's why sometimes I have no problem sitting behind somebody in the car for a while, we're going to get there. I'm really not that stressed out about it. I think it's funny. They've actually tested people. Like, somebody driving, the speed limit right now on 45, going up to Dallas, it's 75 miles an hour. Somebody else that's going 80 to 85 actually typically arrives at the destination about 10 to 15 minutes max, 4-hour drive, okay? 10 to 15 minutes max before the other person who actually drove the speed limit gets there. Here's why. You'll have random moments where other cars are going to you got to watch for traffic. You'll have random moments when you're getting close to your destinations where you got the stoplights and stuff like that. The difference is the one going 75 obeying the way they need to be, being patient. They have no risk at getting what? Ticket. The one going 80 to 85, what do they have a chance of getting? And you ever see those cops are like, why were you speeding, sir? Well, it should have been understood. I was speeding because I wanted to get there faster. You know? By the way, don't ever say that if you get pulled over for speeding. Just saying. You'll be sitting there a whole lot longer. But you know, like, why are you speeding? Well, I was going to so-and-so place. I was trying to get there. Da-da. And then all of a sudden that cop does this. And if you haven't seen it, you've heard the story, I'm quite sure. Maybe from a bitter parent. I don't know. And they're like, oh, really? And all of a sudden, you think they put the pause button. And everything they need to tell you starts going like this. Can I see your, and you already pull out your license and insurance. You're like, seriously, take it down. And like, you know, all of a sudden the cop slows way down, right? Because if you're speeding, they know you're in a what?
Hurry.
They know you're in a hurry. And you've got these obnoxious ones sometimes. They're like, oh, we're going to see how much of a hurry you're in now, baby. And you're like, do you realize, by the way, with how much time you're holding me back, I'm going to have to go that much faster now when I get back on the road. Thank you, Sean. Thank you, I appreciate it, you know? We get a bigger ticket now because of you, you know? Really, it's because of you not being patient. But I've learned, you know what? It's all right just to chill out. And there's actually a verse in Proverbs. If you look over in Proverbs 19, in verse 11, and just the first half, Proverbs, man, it's just so meted down with a lot of stuff. But this first half of this verse, it says this, Proverbs 19:11, a man's wisdom gives him patience. Hear that again. A man's wisdom gives him patience. There were times, like, I know when I first got into ministry and stuff, I didn't get saved until after high school. I was the least likely person to enter the ministry. Let me just call that one out right now. Least likely person to enter ministry at all. But I get saved after high school, and I started in the ministry, and then, lo and behold, the dude that did not grow up doing the whole First Baptist Church thing and all that kind of whatever, didn't do all the camps, didn't do all the whatever business. Yeah, not only am I in a church, now being asked to be an intern, but the youth minister is going to go now be college minister, and so I, who did not grow up under the philosophy of what ministry is about, hey, by the way, you're now in charge until we get to the youth minister about a year and a half later. Enjoy. And I'm like, what's ministry? I'm just working with kids. I didn't know what I was doing, you know? And I started kind of getting into that attitude like, oh, I got to make this happen now. I got to make this happen now. And then I got my big boy pants on, and I got to have my own first church after I graduated college. So I'm at this church up in Eastland, Texas, and it's like, oh, now I'm actually the youth minister in charge. I got all this, whatever. And so, you know, I'm thinking, I want to get this to be like this now. And so I'm like, boom, 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 trying to get everything started, everything rolling, everything so fast, which is sometimes very overwhelming. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like, go football. You want to be the best football team. Do you go out there and get the football players to immediately, hey guys, here's your playbook. You need to know this, by the way, tomorrow. Here's who you're going to be playing this year, and this is what it's going to look like. Or do you start with, here's some basic fundamentals you need to know now. Which one would you do first? Which would you do? Here's the basic fundamentals. Why? Why? Huh? I don't care who you're going to play. I don't care if you're in a 3-day school and you're going to be playing 5A or 6-man. I don't care if you're Tyler Ballard who's playing All-Star, you know, as a graduate, or, oh, by the way, you're actually playing a junior high team for your All-Star game, having a good time. Or if you're actually stepping up and having to play like a big college team. I care less who you're going to play. If you don't know the fundamentals, you won't last. You may get a good playoff here and there, but you will not last. Why? The teams that last know what? They know the fundamentals. They know it. And do those fundamentals come real fast, or do they take time to build? Absolutely. And the sharper you are. I remember, I was coaching all-star little dribblers for years, and I remember just having those kids, and they were just shooting free throws left and right. And I'd be having them do layups, and just in there, and just forever doing layups. Why? It's a stupid layup. Why am I having to do it over and over? You're going to perfect it in the game. Because when all of a sudden pressures come against you, you're going to have a skill that you don't have to think about what it means to do the free throw. I mean, last night I was about to beat my head against the wall for the whole Miami and San Antonio game. I was like, seriously, come on. But you're watching free throws, and I know it's so funny listening to some people sometimes. They're like, how did he miss that free throw? I don't know, sir. Why don't you, who do so well coaching it from your, easy chair, go out there in a, finals experience against top-ranked teams. Everybody's staring at you, and you know if you make this free throw, it might help y'all win, but if you miss it, you might be the reason y'all lose. Here, go show me exactly how you do that, please, by all means. I don't care if they go shoot basketball out in the garage, or, outside the garage against, some little stupid goal outside. It doesn't matter. But if they sit there for years, doing free throws over and over and over and over, you know what? When high pressure hits, they may still miss. But if they've been doing it over and over and over and over, when high pressure hits, they're more likely to still make it than anybody else that didn't do it over and over and over. You know what I'm saying? That patience. And it takes patience. I would just sit out sometimes. When I was coaching these little kids, I'm like, if I'm going to be coaching these little kids, and I got to make sure I have my game on. And I would sit outside, seriously, in my carport, and I would just shoot free throws. And I would just test, like, okay, how many out of 25 can I make? And I would do that drill 8 times. With like a little bit of like a couple minute break, or just shooting around whatever in between that drill. How many out of 25 can I make? And I would do that 8 times. And then the next day I'd go out and do the same stupid thing again. Because I'd just be working on form, working on my shot, working on that kind of a dynamic. I'm a lefty, and I was even trying to do something with right-handed. Again, but it takes patience, especially when you're like, when I was trying to shoot right-handed and stuff like that, and I'm just bricking. You ever have those bad days where you're just totally missing, you're just like, and what do you want to do? You want to stop, right? Because you're just screwing up. You're just not making it, so why are you wasting your time? But somebody that's wise, somebody that has a heart knowing, I know where I want to be, isn't going to stop. If I know I want to be one of the best receivers on my team, I want somebody that can throw the ball pretty hard, throwing to me over and over and over and over. And if I keep dropping them, I don't care. I want them throwing them to me over and over and over because I've got to get used to the best if I want to be the best. You follow? And that's somebody that's wise, knows that. It takes time. And usually we don't get that until as we age. Those of you that are upperclassmen, you know full well, if you went back to junior high, are there things that you would do better next time? Like what? Upperclassmen, this is just for you. Juniors, and then on out. Juniors after graduated. If you went back to junior high, what's something plain and simple you know that you've learned with wisdom that you would go back and do better? What is it? Pay more attention to who you hung out with. And that takes patience because you don't know people's fruit until time. You love everybody. You've got to love everybody. But who you overly invest in, you got to be careful. Or who you let invest in you. Upperclassmen, graduates, what else would you do different if you went back to middle school?
Don't wait till the last minute to get things done.
Why?
Because then you'll just end up not getting anything done.
If you live in the world of the last minute, you're going to find yourself not getting a whole lot done, or at least not done good. When I get stuff like the camp material, which is coming up in late July, we were trying to get the camp material, and the time's already out, because if I get it done and ready now, what can I do with it? I've got time to go back, evaluate it, look at it, whatever. If I throw it together at the last minute, do I have a chance to do that? No way. Then, am I really giving forth my best? By the way, if you say that you're living for Jesus, and Jesus gave his best, by definition, what should you be giving? No matter what you're doing. Praise God for his grace because none of us perfect, right? So praise God for his patience to us. You follow? Guys, as you're young, I'm telling you, you've got to just stay patient and walk with it. Go back to that thing I was saying, like, with me, I know here, like, there's some people when I got here, people get excited because they're like, we want this to happen now. If we just make certain things happen now, does it necessarily mean it's going to be right? Because what do you have to teach? Go back to football. What do you have to teach first? The basics, the fundamentals. You got to get those things down. The fundamentals, the basics. Because you want everybody to be able to move it together and to do it right. And then, you guys, like I know when we start up in the fall with everything going on, school starts back up and all that, whatever, again, it's patience. When we start back up, all of a sudden, you guys are reaching out in school. You're trying to get your friends to start coming to church. You're trying to get all that momentum going on. Everybody's excited because everybody, even though we're so thankful that school is out, that bell finally rang, y'all all know, when it's time for school to start back up, you're ready. You can't wait to see all those friends again. You can't wait for all those first seasons to start, going to those, Friday night football games or junior high, whatever night y'all's is all on, you know what I mean? You're ready. You're ready for school to start back up. And so everybody's got that excitement. And as we build into that, we want you guys, because you're going to screw up sometimes when the heat's on. That's reality. That's reality. But we want you guys to be able to do the best that you can, because when others start coming in and watching you, and they're actually up in the crowd, I want them to see, you know what? The difference between us and that game I was watching last night is they don't actually have to be in the crowd. They can be a part of the game. They can come be a part of the game. And then they can see that, and they're going to start coming in and going, hey, you seem really strong in your faith, though. How can I be like that? You just start by knowing the Bible. How many of you have ever felt like you're reading the Bible, and yet it seems like it's not really, quote, doing anything for you for the moment? Anybody ever been there? All right? Okay. How many of you, though, you felt that way? So this is all those who've ever felt that way. Down the road, you're sitting there going through something in life, or somebody says something to you, or something happens, and all of a sudden you're like, I remember that God was saying, you may not even remember the exact verse, but you know that some kind of a verse that talks about blank, and all of a sudden you're like, I know God's with me. Anybody ever been there? Right? You follow that? You don't always feel it, but you're patient. You keep going after the fundamentals. Then, there's going to be certain times where you're like, oh, I didn't realize I knew that. Right? And isn't that a cool feeling, though? Isn't that a cool feeling, though? When you sit back going, I didn't realize I knew that, but all right, that's not bad. I think Paul wrote in Colossians, he wrote in chapter, let me find it. I believe it's chapter 3. Nope, it's chapter 1. In chapter 1, starting at verse 10, he goes, and we pray this in order that you may live a life worthy of the Lord, and may please him in every way, bearing fruit in every good work, growing in the knowledge of God, being strengthened with all power according to his glorious might, so that you may have great endurance and patience, and joyfully giving thanks to the Father, who has qualified you to share in the inheritance of the saints in the kingdom of light. Hear that again. That you may live a life worthy of the Lord, may please him in every way, bearing fruit in every good work, growing in his knowledge, being strengthened in his glorious might, so that you may have great endurance. Being strengthened so that you can have patience. Guys, you know what? It takes strength to have patience. It takes self-control to have patience. Have you ever just wanted to wring somebody's neck but you held back? Not for the sake of being arrested for murder. You held back because you knew, I can't kill them. It's not right. You ever been there? Because you just wait. You just wait. I guarantee you, there are moments, and I know Ben's walked with me in ministry for years, and there's moments that I'm just like, there's several kids, have I not wanted to just wring their neck and just go, and they would have deserved it. True story. But we wait. We wait. Do you know why? Because somebody waited for me. Somebody waited for me. When they should have wrung my neck, they held on. When they should have run out of patience with me, they waited. Started with Jesus. But there's other people who have shown me that too. And I've learned that it does take a lot of strength to be patient. Those of you that have done any kind of sport, any kind of, actually not even just sport, anything, go back to your computer stuff. Some of the stuff where you're trying to do something with the computers, and you know it's going to take patience to really learn it and grasp whatever it is you're doing. Anybody's ever been in it, you know it takes strength, whether it's a mental strength or a physical strength. It takes strength to be patient. It takes emotional strength to be patient with people sometimes. You know? And girls, I'm going to give this one. Girls are a whole lot stronger about it than guys are. Because guys, we just give up and walk off. We're like, see you, take care. Girls, y'all like hate each other one minute, and all of a sudden you're best friends again the next minute because you do have that good emotional strength. But I'm saying this to say this, guys. Follow me. We live in I'm going to go back to my boy over here who said, I know what I want, and I want it now. We want all the best relationships right now. We want all the things that we want in life right now. We want to get there fast, and we've forgotten. No, by the way, this is not a call to be lazy. Let me be real clear about that. It's not a call to be lazy. If you're being lazy, that's not patient. That's being non-existent. Just saying. But being patient is you're keeping moving forward. There's a song. It's called While I'm Waiting. And I've got a video that we've done that we made up for it for a group that we used to be with. Because we go out like on mission. Like I've talked about this before. Like we'll go build houses in Mexico. And there are families that are on a waiting list. They live in trash. Literally live in trash. Okay? We don't really understand that, do we? In Walden and Eagle Springs and Kingwood and all that. Hello? We don't really understand that. But these people literally live in like box pieces put together to make a house. And they're on the waiting list for 3 to 5 years, typically, before a group will come in. Watch how this works. And in 3 days, build them a house. There's 2 rooms. But build them a house, foundation and all, top to bottom. How many days? 3 days. They're on a waiting list for 3 to 5 years. And when all the violence started in Mexico, it was like all of a sudden the brakes got slammed on. And so if you're waiting for so long for a house, guess what just happened? Because all these churches and other groups that used to come into Mexico to help, they're seeing violence over there, and so what are they doing? Oh yeah, God called us to come. Oh, but while God called us to go, it's a little violent over there. So God wouldn't call us where there's ever any violence. He only calls us to things that are peaceful and sweet and like full of cotton candy and love, so we're not going to go. And I'm not kidding. True story. 1 year, 100 builds were supposed to happen in March, and only 20-something happened because everybody else bailed. If I came to your house and I told you, hey, just so you know, we're coming in to build for you next week, and I go back to my office in El Paso, and I get a phone call, and they say, oh, I'm sorry, just with the violence there, we don't think it's smart to be building houses, so we're not going to go minister to these people. I can't tell you how many people, but it's cool. We actually showed up at one of those houses to build. And this family had been told several times they were going to be built for it, and then the church backed out. They were going to be built for it, and then the church backed out. And they said, why are y'all here? And we said, God called us to come. And they said, right, but there's all the violence. Do you not know? Are you not aware? And we were like, we are aware. But God called us to come. And if God called us to come, God's got it under control. So we're going to obey him, whatever that looks like. We don't understand, but we're going to obey him. We want you to know Jesus. That's what's important to us. But these people were patient, and they waited. And they waited. And God rewarded them because they did wait. I don't know where you are with stuff. I don't know where you are with relationships. It doesn't have to matter with stuff. There's friends of yours, that get on your last nerve. Be patient. Be patient. Because if I think Charles Anthony is a great guy, but he's starts acting up or acting out, do I have to go put up with it? Do I need to go do all the stuff he's doing if he's acting up and acting out? But do I need to make sure he knows I'm still there? Absolutely. And I need to be patient. Stay true. Don't act like what he's doing is cool if he's not doing the right thing. But I need to be patient because guess what? There's a day that I'm going to be stupid. And I need him to be patient with me. You follow? Where are you? And if you guys can all build to be those young men and women who understand what it means to be patient, who understands what it means, like, it'll be okay. You know? Think about this. What? Did I do that? Did I do that last part?
No.
So Noah, why did you do it? Just because why? No, why?
Yeah.
Because what? Because what?
They drilled it in our head when we were young.
It's just what you're supposed to do. Right, but who led it? I did. Right? So who's supposed to finish it? Who's supposed to finish it? If I start it, I better finish it. And I think sometimes the reason we're impatient, I'm going to close out with this. I think sometimes the reason we're impatient is no matter what it is, stuff or people. Something gets started, and we're not seeing it finished. And so we think, well, fine, I'll just go do it. And you know what? There's some truth to that. If I get you so far, but I stop for whatever reason, are you following me or Jesus? You following me or Jesus? Jesus, first and foremost. So if I stop for whatever reason, step up, finish the race. Maybe I need your help, because maybe I don't know how to finish it. But there's going to be times in your life where you're going to see people and not finish it. But there's going to be times where God's going to go, freeze. God's not ready to close it yet. And where you're going to get anxious, because some of y'all, even then, were like, I can't. Because how many of you, is it driving you crazy that I won't finish it? How many of you, seriously, when I first started doing it, is it, thank you, Christopher Douglas, he's like, I'll just cut it straight up. David can wear me out. Finish it, you know? Seriously, because you just can't help it. I mean, I'll just do it. And there's several people that, I saw several hands. You're like, I'm not clapping. I'm not going to do it. Okay? Because it's just your stupid instinct of, I've got to do it. Guys, let me tell you. I get that. Because there's moments where I'm like, okay, I'm done waiting on somebody else to get it right. I'm going to just step up and get it right. People will fail you. God will never fail you. Ultimately, you showing patience proves your faith in Him. You showing patience, guys, does show your faith in Him. Because, God, I'm going to keep worshiping you while I'm waiting. This is that song called While I'm Waiting. I will worship while I'm waiting. I will serve you while I'm waiting. Not I will sit on my butt while I'm waiting. Not I'm just going whatever while I'm waiting. No. I will worship Him with my life while I'm waiting. I will serve Him while I'm waiting for Him to complete whatever it is He's got to complete. When Lisa was on bed rest for 2 months, there were days we thought we could put our head to the wall. How in the world? And people are like, well, she's getting to lay in bed. That's awesome. Go ask my wife. Go Facebook my wife. Go text my wife. Go whatever my wife. How was it really on bed rest? Did you enjoy laying around? I think she enjoyed it for like an hour. Because see, all of a sudden, she'll tell you, our bedroom became a prison. Because she had to stay in bed. And y'all know this is true. When you have to stay somewhere, all of a sudden all you can think of is everywhere else you'd rather be. And she didn't have a choice. And she had to be patient. And God hadn't gone yet. But God who calls is always faithful. God knows you. God knows who you are. You can't wait for football to start. And God knows that. And God knows the team you're on. He knows why you're on the team. And And he knows exactly what you're going to face when you're on the team. He knows if you guys are going to win every game, or if you guys are going to get pounded every game, you're going to be like, why in the world am I out here? And he still knows, I've got a call for you and a reason for you, whether you understand it or not, because I haven't gone yet. So you be patient and just stay faithful, keeping all the basic fundamentals down. All the basic fundamentals down, just as he has commanded. And he will be with you always, even to the end of the age, until that moment is through, when he says, all right, now on to our next thing. But you've got to be patient. I promise you, you guys within the next 24 to 48 hours are going to enter into some kind of circumstance at home, and maybe within 30 minutes, I don't know. You're going to enter into some kind of circumstance at home, around each other, somewhere, where you're going to have to prove that you receive what you just heard. Or did you just come to church and play around and have a devotion? You're going to get called to showing patience. I hope you'll remember that pause and trust God to bring about the final closure of the class. Let me pray for you guys.